Across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zitman.
And welcome once again to another edition of the A2Z Across LC podcast. My name is Jeff Alsman. Sitting in for Cody Zitman today is the legend Mike Lemons, back for another round as our guest co-host.
I feel like I need to be Cody and go, hey, and do some kind of screaming or something.
You know, I was going to tell you last week that I don't have to worry about adjusting the audio.
Yeah.
And
you notice when I got louder, I leaned back.
You moved back.
Yeah.
You
didn't do that.
Yes.
I'm happy to be back again, but this is supposed to be a rotating thing, so I won't come back next time.
So you're putting your foot down.
Yeah, I might be here. Who knows?
It's not in your contract. We only did a 2-week contract, a 2-session contract.
That's it, right. Okay. But after this, it's, Dave needs to come host this thing.
Well, we can bring producer O in. That'd be good.
Maybe some of our students can host it one of these times.
There's an idea. Yeah. Maybe they can just do it, and I can be going too.
We're going to meet a couple of them today on the show.
Some of the radio students,
the digital streaming and broadcast media students are going to be here. Carissa and Jake. They're both heavily involved in the program, doing a lot of work right now. It's springtime, their second semester, and it's full of work for them to do. So we'll talk to them about that. Also, are both directors for our radio station, so they have some pretty important jobs to do at our radio station. We'll talk about that, and maybe one of them will see to be a good co-host for you in the future.
Oh, there you go. So they've reached a stage now where it's kind of gone beyond just the learning to the actual doing. And
they did a lot of it last semester too. Now they're really honing their skills a little bit more and adding some other skill sets. It's time to feature these folks. Even though we don't have any of their projects with us, you'll see them soon, but they can talk about all those.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear that. That sounds really interesting. Always good to see students moving their career forward and I guess getting ready to launch. In addition to our students, we have 2 of our women's soccer players here. They're in their spring schedule. Their fall schedule is the big schedule. That's the one that counts. But spring is in the middle of that. I think it's only like 6 games maybe. So they're going to be here to talk to us about soccer. So we'll have a nice student presence on this show, and we'll kick a lot off with Bigfoot. That's going to be one that's going to be interesting to me. I'm not sure what exactly the Bigfoot festival and the vendor craft type setup and the young entrepreneurs that are involved in it too. It's kind of a 3-pronged event that's happening up just off of Interstate 55 up in Litchfield. So right, the Bigfoot Festival and annual Spring Vendor Young Entrepreneur Market. Put that on a badge. Anyway, Suzanne Hormel, who's heavily involved in that, is going to talk about that event that's on Saturday, May 10th, and we'll have her as our first guest in just a minute. All right. Well, let's bring her in. She's probably waiting in the green room. Yeah. Take us out. We are
LC A to Z. Welcome to Lewis and Clark Reed Memorial Library. Let me show you around. We're not just about studying. It's a place to unleash your creativity and connect with others. Grab a snack, sip on some coffee, and dive into a board game or puzzle. Want to make something cool? We've got 3D printers and Cricut machines to bring your ideas to life. And if you need research help, we've got you covered. Whether you're working on a project or just kicking back with friends, the library's got everything you need to succeed and have fun while doing it. Oh, I almost forgot. Books. We've got those too. Whether you're into graphic novels, young adult, sci-fi, or biographies, we've got it all. So whether you're here to study, create, or just relax, the library's got something for everyone. So come on in and make the library your own.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here. Our guest host today, Mike Lemons, here as well. And Mike, we're going to be joined now by some folks who have some really interesting stuff to share with us. I'm anxious to hear about this. Well, let's welcome in Wayne and Suzzane. Suzzane, can you lean in just a little bit there?
Oh,
there we go. Wayne and Suzzane, there we go. They are from the Pink Elephant Antique Mall, and they are here to talk to us about the Bigfoot Festival, an annual spring vendor/young entrepreneur market that's happening on Saturday, May 10th. Thank you both for joining us. We're glad that you're with us.
Glad to be here. Yeah, thank you for having us.
So right off the bat, I've got to ask, what is the connection to Bigfoot?
So
last couple of years, we have done a UFO and alien festival in the fall. We have a 1968 Futura home, UFO-shaped home, which got along with the theme of a UFO alien festival. This spring, or earlier this winter, a gentleman came in and talked to me, Harold Benny, and asked me if we were having a Bigfoot festival because several of our vendors at the UFO festival did Bigfoot-related items. You get into one realm of UFOs, Bigfoot's naturally to come in there as, another thing that people are in awe of. Harold Benny is a Bigfoot hunter, and he started talking to me. I was like, well, we already do the spring festival. Let's run with this Bigfoot festival theme. Him and several of his other friends that are Bigfoot hunters are actually going to come out and speak throughout the day and talk about their adventures of trying to track Bigfoot and the knowledge that they have and do question and answers on Bigfoot.
All right.
Now, were you guys, before this, were you Bigfoot hunters or enthusiasts, or did you have a thrill for seeking this type of knowledge before this?
Stuff, don't you?
I've always had a fascination with Bigfoot. That's probably one of the first books I read as a kid was about Bigfoot. So I've always been enthralled with Bigfoot, and it's a neat subject.
And you do sell a lot of Bigfoot stuff here.
Yeah.
At the Pink Elephant Antique Mall and at the candy store. So between 3D images, signs, rug mats of welcome with Bigfoot on it, there's a lot here.
Well, and if you've been up I-55, you can't miss the big pink elephant, and it's got some pretty large feet of its own, so it kind of plays right along with the theme. So
if it's strange or weird, I'm into it.
So you talk about some of the guest speakers you're going to have in presentations. Talk to me about this the vendor market. It's kind of vendor/young entrepreneur market. Tell us about that and what people attending can expect to see there.
Yeah, absolutely. So our vendor market, it's our 5th annual vendor market that we've had. And we have over 50 vendors right now signed up to be out on our lawn. So it's all outside. They'll have their tents set up. It ranges anywhere from concrete work, woodwork. We have people who have made their own lotions, and there's arts and crafts. There will be some of the Pink Elephant dealers will be out on the lawn selling baseball cards, some of their antiques and vintage items. So there's a lot to look forward to. The Young Entrepreneurs is something new. We wanted to give these guys and gals a spot to practice what they're selling. And so we have 3 signed up now, and it's free for them because we want them to kind of get a leg up and get used to this. So, but they had to fill out paperwork. That way they could get used to the whole process of becoming a vendor when they're wanting to do this in other markets and stuff. But it should be a lot of fun. It runs from 9:30 to 5 o'clock, just like the speakers do.
So when you say the young entrepreneur, is that college age? Is it like high school senior age? Is it early 20s? Is there a limit?
It's anyone up through college that can come in and do this. Yeah. Now they have to, the thing is they have to work the table. So if the person's 12 or 13, however young they are, I think I have a 9-year-old coming out, they have to work the table. They have to be the ones selling. Their parent can go ahead and run the cash register, but when it comes down to it, if they're the young entrepreneur, then they have to be the one putting their foot forward and selling their product and everything.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
So it's like hands-on training right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of CEO classes throughout the different school districts and stuff. And it was the hope to get more of those members from the CEO classes, because it's one of the requirements that you have to do is to go to a vendor market. I just think that they are set up at very specific markets.
So tell us about some of these activities, family-friendly activities. What's a Bigfoot-themed game that we might see at this, or some of these other things? I'm sure a photo op, you'll have some type of, is it a person in Bigfoot outfit or with a cutout? Or Tell us about some of these activities that are going on.
Yeah, Bigfoot outfit. There's a gentleman that's coming from 9 a.m. until noon that is going to be dressed up as Bigfoot. He's actually a scare actor at a local haunted house. He's stepped forward and said, hey, I want to come out. He's got a pretty intense looking Bigfoot outfit. It's going to be available. We are going to have on stage a Bigfoot hollering contest. Squatch holler.
That's for
so
Cody.
They can,
That'd be perfect for Cody.
It would be perfect for Cody.
That's right.
he can get out here and scream his lungs out and see if he sounds like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 categories for that. So up to age 14 and then 15 and older for those categories. So whoever does the best squatch holler, our judges will be our speakers. So it's going to be after the speakers, 2:30 to probably 3 o'clock. It shouldn't take too long. And then one of our vendors, Garbo and Sons, they are actually giving the prizes for it, and it's a set of Bigfoot prints.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You know what?
That's,
Cody's probably way too busy because he's a pretty busy guy. That's why he can't be here
That's
right now.
Right.
But
that's true. He would do well.
He would do well. He'd probably take the top prize.
He probably would.
Yeah.
So tell everyone exactly where this is located. Is it easiest to come in through the back way and not try to get in from 55? What's the exit that's most often taken?
If you're on Interstate 55, it's exit 37 at Livingston, and then you'll take the frontage road south to us. Otherwise, if you're on Route 4, you take Veterans Memorial Drive, and once you get in town, you'll see us off on the right.
Yeah, we are at 908 Veterans Memorial Drive in Livingston, Illinois, and we actually sit in the old Livingston High School. It's off on the south side of Veterans Memorial Drive. It's a big, gigantic school that you can't miss.
And if you see the big pink elephant,
you're there.
You're there. You just have to figure out how to get there. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're looking at what, 40 minutes from Godfrey, probably?
Probably
40, 45
like
minutes,
that.
something like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways that you can get here. We will have more than one Bigfoot walking around. I know several of our vendors will have Bigfoot costumes as well. So there'll be a nice variety. Someone had asked the other day if we were going to be talking about Momo, which is what Sasquatch is called.
Momo's the Missouri Momo from
Missouri.
Over in Missouri. So it's just a local name for Bigfoot over there.
Yeah.
So, these days with Photoshop and all, if somebody comes out and gets a really good picture and they can,
right.
That's
what I was about to say.
I'm thinking put it into a background. We might start this all over again.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get a picture of him running along the interstate.
Yeah, there you go.
Wayne and coming from Godfrey, 140 to Hamel, and you can take either the frontage road up or the interstate up. Get you right here.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to your festival. Sounds like a good time.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you for getting it out there for us.
All right, absolutely. So head on up that way if you're not doing anything. Sounds like a lot of fun. So, and I wonder what a Bigfoot yelling "We are" would sound like. Give it a try, Mike.
We are.
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but my path could have been in exercise science. Let's go! Or I could have discovered the artist in me.
And welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. I'm Mike Lemon, sitting in for Cody Zipman. Jeff Alsman, who's always hosting, is here.
You kind of sounded like you were disappointed.
No, not at all.
Because he's always hosting.
Oh, no. He's good.
You're trying to take over?
No,
you sound like
not at all.
You're really enjoying this.
Not at all. But the voices you hear are a couple of our students, and I'm happy to bring these two students in. And with us, we have Carissa Schwank.
Hello.
Hi, Carissa. And Jake Wicker.
Hi, my name's Jake.
And they're both students. And just before I said, don't make us look bad, is what I said the very first thing to them coming back in. Anyway, they're students in the digital streaming and broadcast media program, and they're in the thick of it right now. They're in the throes of a lot of assignments, whether it's writing assignments for one of my classes, or audio production assignments in another class, or video production, or these 5-minute shows and on air and podcasting. They're doing a lot right now. It's kind of bad on our part because the fall semester's kind of easy, and it kind of sets you up for thinking that it's easy in this semester.
And then you lower the boom.
And then boom, do you really want to do this? Here it is.
Got no idea.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the stress you've been under, Carissa, over this, I don't know, these last 4 or 5 weeks or so.
See, I think I kind of saw it coming, but nothing really prepared me for the last 4 weeks, because I think it's just been like project after project, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to rest. I think like I've spent some like 12 hours a day here for like some of the days. So yeah, just a lot of different projects, a lot of fun projects too. 5-minute shows. It's been great. So
now I wouldn't say lucked out, but you had some courses already that you brought to us from another college. So I think you have 2 fewer courses than Jake has right now. So he's probably got a little bit more to do in a podcasting class and also in a writing class. So there's more going on in your world.
Well, yeah, you were the like news editor for, what was that?
A few different papers. I'm a non-traditional student. Non-traditional student. So I kind of have like I have a
little bit of an advantage.
I mean, you'd think that, but this has been.
So you're just like a full-fledged media person.
Yeah. Well, I got my mass comm degree from SIUE in 2020, and then worked as a newspaper editor. But my dream was radio, and just wanted to get my voice out there. So yeah, just filling in some educational gaps. And
see, she sounds like me, except I didn't go through all the education part. I wanted to do the mass comm.
Right.
I started to do that and then stopped because I always wanted to be in radio. And then I started in the newspaper line as well, and then picked up radio kind of as a hobby. And that's kind of still where I am. So man, I can really relate to your story.
Yeah, yeah. I think, maybe that's just a common thing, when you've got something to say, it doesn't really matter if you're writing it or saying it into a mic. I don't know.
Well, and when these guys talk about their projects, it's probably different than other departments here at the college, because you have to spend a lot of time here. You have to use the equipment, where it's not like you can do a lot of this stuff at home. It's not like doing homework or, writing papers. A lot of your stuff is actually air takes and recordings and commercials and programs, and you have to use the school's equipment for that. So you probably are spending quite a bit of time here now.
Yeah. It's very real, I feel like, too. We're doing a lot of stuff that is actually,
Right. It's
real.
Creative. It's creative stuff, I oftentimes will walk past classes and I'll hear people taking like a physics lecture, and I just feel bad for them, because we have probably the best major, I think, because we're just creating stuff all day. That's pretty much all we do.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like the stuff we're doing too, it's like it's not just practice for the real world. I feel like we're kind of actually doing it. Like I said a few minutes ago about the 5-minute shows, like we're actually interviewing real people in real fields, or depending on kind of what our show series theme was. Like mine was like nature conservation areas and parks and organizations and stuff like that. So I've been interviewing those real people, and they actually air, so they're actually getting,
So then when they do these projects, Mike, do they become part of packages that they can then add to their resumes?
That's the whole goal, right? So the final semester, they do a portfolio class. So it's put up everything that you've created. So they keep talking about these 5-minute shows. They're really just 5-minute mini series things, right? 4 parts. Like she said, Carissa said hers is on nature. So she's going to different nature preserves and interviewing and offering real content that will air for listeners to go, oh, I might want to check that out, right? Jake's doing his on performers. It may be dance, it may be a singer, it may be a musician, to where anything that might be of interest. So it's creating real content. It's producing that first one, learning from the feedback that we offer to tackle the second one. So they've got interviewing skills that they're working on. They're getting outline experience. How do I want this show to go? They're getting editing experience by putting into play and contacting people. I mean, you know this in the career that you've been in, contacting people to try to get that content and making it happen on deadlines. Like it's supposed to be 5 minutes long. They get a 5-second leeway either way.
Oh, wow.
So it has to be 4:45 to 505, and if it's not, then
You
then
fail.
Well, it's not quite a fail.
So then you learn the secret of being good at ad-libbing, and that's hard
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
That really is difficult.
Yeah.
Not for me. I can just talk all day. Yeah. That's me, though.
But it has to make sense. You can't just jump in
Right.
and say, "My name's Jake."
Oh, but he does
Like I
often.
did
No.
at the start, yeah.
Do you listen to his shows?
Yeah.
It's supposed to make sense.
So I mean that happens though, but we bring in these two students. Jake, I like to give Jake a hard time. We always talk about how Jake likes the spotlight, but Jake's so comfortable being on a microphone that sometimes when you're that comfortable, you might not necessarily prepare or know what it is that you're going to say, what content you're going to deliver. But in this production setting, I could say both of their 5-minute shows have been fantastic and they're fun to listen to. My critiquing is really nitpicking to a certain degree, but there may be some with bed levels or some transitions may be off. But that's why we do 4 of them, as though that you learn from each one and get better. Going back to the equipment, though, I mean, would you guys agree? I mean, you might not have much to base it on, but the equipment you guys get to use is pretty stellar.
Oh,
yeah, it's state of the art. Whenever we took a tour of Hubbard and KC95 and all that, they were using these same boards and programs that we are using right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm taking advantage of it all the time. If I feel like if I can produce something that's really, really good, I'm gonna much rather choose to do it here than like at my home microphone. And
Right.
and I have a history, an educational history of these sort of programs, and I will say that this is some of the best equipment I've encountered in college. So it's feel lucky.
Nice little plug. I just laid that one up there going, here,
Yeah.
just go ahead
Talk
and knock
about a
this-
softball.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about your instructors and how great they are.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take the extra credit later. Thank you.
Are you guys enjoying what you do? I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of work, but that's the kind of work you'll see in the stress you'll see in the real world, right? But you're doing it here along with your other lives that you're trying to make it all happen for. And I try to warn you ahead of time, right? This is coming. Don't get behind. But hopefully you're finding a way to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I try to prioritize fun in everything I do. Like I usually whenever I make videos in David's class or I make sweepers, I always try to make them funny. That's just my.
It's just your name. So your creativity comes out. Your personality comes out in your creativity. I guess it sounds like.
I guess so. Yeah.
So they're both involved with our radio station too, which is still 89.9. We do more. We used to be solely radio, right? But now we're doing so much more than just radio. And but we still have that station. That's a pretty popular station, 89.9 FM. Jake is the program director, which he's kind of like the student version of me, the station manager, right? And then we have Carissa, who is our music director. And people may not understand that there's a lot that goes into what we choose. I mean, we have music meetings weekly. She brings a set of songs. We sit and listen to them. We rate these songs. And then after we choose them, she then goes back determining which categories they go into. And depending on what categories they go into will depend on how often they're rotated. And there's a lot of science to it. So without the work of these two people every day, our station wouldn't run the way that it does.
Most people just flip their car on and it's tuned to that
Right.
spot and they hear it and they just expect it to be there and have no idea what happens to make that song, pop into the radio, I guess.
They're
Chris-
spoiled.
Carissa, when you took over as music director, did you anticipate it was going to be that?
Well, it was a lot more work than I expected at the very beginning, but it's good work. I love alternative rock music, although, it's hard to kind of divorce your own taste from, you have to make sure that it's with, this that fits well with the station format. Yeah. And it's not just like, I love this song, let's play it. But yeah.
She said the line that I've never said, but divorce your own taste from choosing, right? I mean, if I don't like everything we play, if we did, we wouldn't sound right because I'm not the target demo. So
Right.
It's being able to step aside and go, does this work or does this not work? And she's done a great job. And Jake, he's kind of over all the directors in a sense to make sure people are doing their thing. Did you?
That was me whipping you into shape. Sorry.
I don't know what to say.
I felt like I was. I should have chuckled then.
I know. I thought we had to rein Cody in. Cody's nothing compared to Jake. He's just like.
This is mild.
He's like out of control.
This is mild.
Somebody stop me.
Hey, that's the mask.
But overall, you having a good time in the program? You liking what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So this is kind of second career for you, I think. And do you both plan to, be in radio? That's what you have decided now.
Or
you
media,
definitely want
or
to do,
media in general.
Yeah, because
media
podcasting,
general,
all of it.
Yeah, I think if I could find a good spot at a radio station and, that would be awesome. But yeah, anywhere in the media field would be great.
For me, it's always just been performing. Like I've done theater all my life. I've been doing stand-up for quite a while now.
I can't imagine that. Can you imagine stand-up? Certainly not.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just what it is for me. And radio definitely too. Media, all that stuff, and that jazz.
So it's just we're training them how to create content and distribute it across all forms of media. So
do you have a preference? Do you have one that's more, since you've done so many different things? Do you have one that's more of a favorite?
I like stand-up. I have done pretty much like everything. I've done TV acting, I've done theater acting, but stand-up is probably my favorite. It's a pretty noble field because you're just up there by yourself, If you bomb, you have to own it, but if you do good, you also get to own it, I like stand-up.
It seems threatening.
I've threatened to go to one of his shows and be the heckler because you're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to deal with them, so might as well.
It's all part of the preparation.
That's right. It's all the training that, I'm trying to offer. And, if he just has a cakewalk up there with jokes, let's not do that.
You have prepared me for heckling so well. So thank you for that.
Well, it sounds like you both are definitely on course for some great stuff.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations on what I'd like to hear. Can I hear their projects?
Sure. And we'll give them to the, we can give them to the audience. We'll have them back again to go, hey, this is what they've produced so far, and here's how cool it is. But, you could tune in anytime at 89.9 and listen to them on air. Chris is on a couple days a week, I think, and Jake's on a lot. So,
well, because he doesn't let anybody else.
Specific time?
He doesn't want anybody else to have the microphone. That's why he's on anytime there's an open spot, he's in there.
That's true.
Thanks, guys, so much for joining us for the show.
Thanks for having us.
And keep up the hard work and try not to hate me too much at times.
I'll try.
Will do.
All right.
So give us in your best radio voice the Lewis and Clark We Are.
We are.
We are.
Tennessee, A to Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been a process operator. Yeah, my path could have been in graphic design.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Mike Lemons alongside as well.
What did you think of the two students we had in, Carissa and Jake?
I was very impressed with both of them, and I've got to say, I loved Carissa's voice.
Yeah, she's kind of a natural. Her voice, I mean, I think in class one time I said it was angelic.
I don't know what the right word. Not that that's not the right word.
Well, it may not be. I just wanted to overemphasize how great I think it was.
Every once in a while, you'll hear a voice in radio.
Yeah,
usually, and it's just that it voice, and there are a few folks that have that, and it sounds like she has that.
Yeah, and Jake is just he's a performer, and
you can tell
he takes to a microphone pretty easily. So
he really
both
does.
of them are great. And what's cool about it is they're kind of the I wouldn't say leaders of the group, but they kind of are. So other students gravitate towards them, and it kind of makes everything flow. So we're excited to have them, as well as others. I mean, I could have brought in another half dozen people that we could have really highlighted, and maybe sometime in the future.
Sounds like there might be a couple more potential pictures on your wall of fame out there in the hallway.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Awesome.
That'd be nice.
Hey, want to let you know, we just received a message that the soccer players are not going to be able to be with us today, so we're going to reschedule them for one of our future podcasts and get them on the program. They just were not able to make it today.
And that's okay. We'll find them. We'll have a time to come in, and maybe we'll do it a little bit closer to their fall season or maybe, who knows. But we'll have plenty of time to talk soccer. What I didn't realize until just now is that you have an A to Z across LC logo on your chest.
I do. Let me see.
So while we're on our way out, I think I'm going to zoom into that. If you just hold it up.
Let me put the wrinkles out of it.
Yeah. See if I can just really in.
I'm doing it. I'm trying. You know what? I'm looking at the camera and it's all, you have to do it the opposite way.
Yeah. There you go.
So now.
Don't move.
Oh, wait. I got to get the cord out. Let me get the cord out of the way.
Oh, and I got to learn how to work the camera.
There you go. How about that?
Go. Thanks for tuning in for the A to Z Across LC podcast. We are
LC.
LC A to Z.